What are the true origins of Naruto that no one knows about? In one word, Taoism. In many words, Taoism, Hinduism, Buddhism, Shintoism, Jainism, and the list continues. But what is Taoism? Well, a long time ago, an archivist man was on an ox. His name is Lao Tzu. He wrote a book. Its name is Tao Te Ching. His book is great, and you can read it right now even though it was written before Christ, which is pretty awesome. I highly recommend it. From then, Taoism followed with even more books, writings, and stuff, like drinking mercury, and I'm not joking. Stuff aside, Taoism is incredible. But let's talk about Lao Tzu for a little bit. In his writing, he addressed the concept of sagehood, a theme highly prevalent throughout Naruto. However, Tao Te Ching is not about what can be written and expressed through concepts. It's not about the imaginary world of the mind or the physical one of the body, or even the soul. It's not about light or shadow. It is about all these things and at the same time none of them. Taoist teachings tie deeply with the school of yin and yang, and essentially with everything I listed previously. If I could use one word to describe all of it, it would be non-duality. What is non-duality? Well, it is essentially the unseparated nature of reality. Or in other words, those weren't words, though. Exactly. The reason for that sound is to give an expression of non-duality beyond words. But why is this important? Well, it's because a lot of individuals misunderstand Naruto and Japanese media in general. Naruto. They will complain about how Kaguya doesn't make sense, how the powers don't make sense, and how this or that doesn't make sense, even though it all makes sense. Why is that? Because they look at said media through a Western lens as opposed to an Eastern one, specifically through a lens tinted by Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Now, although the Eastern and Western sides do share commonalities, they do have substantial differences. To put it simply, Western lenses have more to do with monotheism and Eastern lenses are about non-dualism. There is a fine distinction between these two, and without getting too much into the weeds, I'll just summarize it like this. Monotheism is about seeing the world as a place where the creation, which would be us, is subjected to the creator, which would be God. And non-dualism is basically saying that we're all God or some shit. That is very, very rough simplification, but a good one, I'd say. Trust me, you don't want me to get into the weeds about this thing right now. Although, to be fair, Christianity, or what Christianity was originally about, has a lot more to do with non-dualism than Judaism or Islam. Let's not get into that for the time being, though. Now back to Naruto. It would come as no surprise as this story has been inspired by Eastern thought and mythology. But it is actually very easy to underestimate just how much it was inspired by these things, to the point where even just reading this article on Taoist cosmology, or how the world was formed according to Taoism, can help you understand how the truth-seeking orbs work. Trust me, I highly recommend getting into Eastern stuff. It will greatly improve how you see Naruto and it will Naruto! And it will increase your appreciation for not only Kishimoto's works in particular, but anime things in general. Anime. And basically anything Eastern. Some of the things that easily get clearer when you look at them through an Eastern lens go as such. Kaguya will make way more sense when you realize she is supposed to symbolize samsara, akasha, and taiji, which are essentially the same thing worded differently. Although samsara is the more advanced state of the two. Akasha and taiji are referred to as the first step in creation, while samsara is supposed to be a more complete state of creation. Akasha and samsara originate from India, well, with samsara being adopted by Buddhism and others. Taiji is from Taoism. By saying this, I'm trying to make another point. There is a lot of terminology in Eastern thought, and even the words Eastern thought refer to a very broad collection of philosophies, mythologies, traditions, spiritual approaches, and more. However, they all lead to the same thing. So don't let the multitude of words confuse you. Don't let the multiplicity of expressions confuse you. And beating Kaguya is a thematic, visual, and cosmological representation of beating the cycle of samsara. Not merely the act of beating her, but primarily the feelings of Naruto and Sasuke are that which broke the cycle. This also happened when Naruto built a bridge between himself and Nagato, the one who wielded eyes reflecting samsara. Even the power system in itself will make way more sense after getting more in tune with these ways of seeing things. It will also make sense why a lot of characters engage in vacuous pursuits of immortality. The dynamics between humans and Oni, the dichotomy between nature and human will, the strength and shortcomings of both eyes and body, all these themes, they will just make more sense. They will, and you will see these reoccurring themes all over just Eastern fiction. Like, you can see that with Kaido and Luffy, Oni from Tsukihime, all sorts of things. Also, another example I want to give, now that I brought up Tsukihime, the final movie of the Kara no Kyoukai franchise is very, very good, because it basically shows how the Nasuverse is like built upon Taoist cosmology. But you can't truly appreciate it unless you know these things. So that's another very, very good example. So a lot of people rated it low, which is weird, but it's understandable because they simply don't understand it. Anyway, let's go back. Not that I strayed from the topic or anything. And, among these examples that I listed, there are many, many more things that won't be listed right now because I want to make this video short and sweet. A lot of people will call this headcanon, but they are wrong, and here's why. What I'm saying now is just as headcanon as saying that Naruto's ramen contains ramen. Or ramen. Okay, I give up. No, it's okay. That Naruto's ramen contains protein, as opposed to meta-fictional Kishimoto particles, of which nature is unconfirmed until Kishimoto spells it out. What I'm basically trying to say is that, yes, the author has authority over his work, and he would agree with me, but the author works within reality with very real elements. You don't need a direct statement every time to make correct inferences about one's fictional work. So I'll let your cogwheels turn to that. So that's it. Oh yeah, there's another Taoist schoolboy I forgot to mention, Zhangja. And I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. Okay, I recommend him too, and there are many other cool Taoist boys and girls. But remember, that which cannot be told. Thanks for watching. I highly appreciate it.